Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Joe. We often focus on cameras, lenses, or in my case, which microphone to use. But instead, this time I want to share with you 10 ideas to help you with your video making process. Hopefully you will find something useful or interesting. Feel free to check the timestamp to see what we have on offer today. I'm going to list them in the order of price since I use all of these things. Therefore, it's a little bit difficult to rank them in any order of importance. With that being said, number 1, bubble level. Most tripods usually have one built in, but I find it much easier to use one of these, especially when I'm doing top-down shots. They only cost a few quid, and it's super useful to get a straight shot as well. I use it all the time. If you really want to save some money, I assume you have a phone. With the iPhone, for example, you can use the built-in leveling app completely free. I'm sure there are other free app versions for iOS or Android. Number 2, PVC Foam Boards. Again, super cheap, super useful to get a clean background or use it for bounce light like I'm using right here off to my side. Great for filling in shadows without having to use another powered light source. Number 3, iron plates. You may need to purchase these, but if you happen to have some lying around, like I do, these are great to use for counterweights without having to use sandbags. The key thing is that it will help to balance things out so it's less likely to fall over, and you don't have to tighten things as much, especially with boom poles. Number 4, clamps. Now we are slowly stepping up in price, but these are fairly affordable. I've got a couple of different types. These simple ones help to grip cables or background fixtures. These ones I use to hold the foam board, for example, and these small rig ones are great for holding monitors or lights or anything else you can think of. I use them everywhere, all over the room. Boring items, but essential and super useful. Number 5, labeling machine. I love my little printer. Not only does it look awesome and super cute, but man, it's all these small details that really make your life easier. I pretty much label everything, even down to the plugs, which makes it so much easier to find the right plug without the risk of unplugging the NAS, for example. That would be disastrous, but also super useful in labeling batteries or SD cards. Number 6, light stand tripod. This one I'm particularly proud of discovering as I haven't heard anyone else mention it before, but I find it much easier and quicker to use a light stand as a tripod if you do a lot of different shots, especially ranging from low to high. It also takes up less leg room compared to the big tripod. It's not as stable, so it's more suited for indoors, or you have to wait a little bit longer for it to stop wobbling before you take a picture or video. But man, I find it so much quicker and easier to adjust the light stand compared to faffing around with the Manfrotto legs. Number 7, top handle. This one is more suited for handheld shots as it does help to reduce some of the micro jitters for sure and gives you some nice mounting points for accessories. Even though I mostly shoot indoors with tripods, but I find it so much easier to grab the handle when I'm moving between shots, especially with a monitor on top. Depending on your camera, I find the grip way too small to hold on my X-T2, for example, so the handle is definitely easier to move about, even if I'm not shooting outdoors. Definitely worth getting if you shoot a lot of handheld stuff though. Number 8, USB charging. Most cameras come with a mains adapter or even support power delivery in the camera body itself, but that only charges one battery at a time. So, if you want to speed things up, I pretty much always get a dual battery USB charger for all my cameras or batteries that I use. Plus, USB power is pretty universal, available anywhere. And if you pair it with a multi-output USB hub, for example, all you need is just one power outlet. Number 9, passport checker. This thing is ridiculously overpriced, but I see why people recommend it, and I have to agree. I use it for every single shot. Well, maybe not all of my shots, but definitely for these talking head stuff. I made a video about it before explaining what it does, but basically it gives you a point of reference and takes the guessing work out of trying to color correct your image and light your scene correctly. Your monitor might be accurate or not. Even if it is, our eyes are constantly adjusting depending on ambient light, so we can't really trust it. This will give us a clear indication what is happening with our scene when editing. Oh, and it helps to check focus as well. Super useful, especially if you're a one-man band like myself. Number 10, external monitors. For the longest time, I didn't have an external monitor. I simply used the camera's LCD to guess if the scene was in focus and if the exposure was correct. But again, the LCD color might not be accurate, and without the proper tools such as waveform, zebra, peaking, etc., you're pretty much just guessing at this point. Not to mention, if your camera doesn't have a flippy screen, then you can't even see yourself, like my XT2. Or even if it does, it might be way too far to see. Well, maybe not for you, but in case you didn't know, it is absolutely true. Asians can't see more than 2 feet away. Anyway, that is it for my 10 tips that I want to share with you today, or to consider when filming. But what's that? Bonus tip. When you're looking for a spot to film, or to take a picture for the matter, I usually start with the background first, and what I tend to do is defocus the lens and find the best angle for filming. Usually the subject or object is going to be in focus or in the center anyway, so we don't really have to worry about that. But by using this technique, we can find the best or least distracting angle first, and also perhaps save ourselves some time by finding angles that doesn't need a lot of work by clearing up or setting up if it's going to be out of focus at the end anyway. And that's it, my 10 tips, and I'm sure this video is long enough already. I hope you found it useful, and please share some of your tips, especially if you know some obscure unknown ones that I haven't mentioned. As always, a huge thank you for watching. I hope you liked this content and video. If you did, please consider giving me a like. It will help me out tremendously for my channel. My name is Joe once again, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.